Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Alrighty, welcome to the 7th episode of the Go Get That podcast. Rory McIlroy has conquered Las Vegas at the CJ Cup in what was a very exciting week and a very exciting Sunday that we only got to watch half of. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, I know this is something we just talked about, but Rory's just really, Rory gets into these situations not as often right now. I mean, he hasn't had good form coming in. He's been in contention maybe 3 times in the past 6 months, and he's won 2 of them. So it's just, when he's there, he usually comes out on top, and it's pretty, it's tough to look past that anymore.
Yeah, it's what. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
No, you can go.
I was just gonna say it's what makes Rory, right? Is like the best players in the world. They tend to win tournaments when they're in them, even if they don't, show up in contention all that much. But Rory played really well this weekend. His numbers actually aren't that great, especially with the iron play. He was pretty poor, 67th in the field, but he led the field in strokes gained putting. And when Rory does that, that's just tough to beat.
Exactly.
Second off the tee. So, Rory was, I don't want to say like prime Rory or the best Rory, but he was elite off the tee and he made a lot of putts, and that's just a tough combination to top.
Yeah.
When you're a world-class player, you can win not having everything at its A game. And
yeah,
as you said, Dan, Rory was 67th of 78 with his irons. That's awful for Rory, but if Rory's gonna be number 1 in putting, it's just like Colin. If one of those guys are top 1, top 2 in putting, it doesn't matter where everything else is. As long as they're getting the ball off the tee, they're gonna be up there on Sunday. And besides Rory, I know you made a very snarky comment to begin the pod, Bob, talking about the coverage, and just because I want to get it off my chest quickly. I know PGA and golf Twitter had a little bit of a frenzy today about the coverage, saying how the contracts.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour always complains about, the contracts, we got to obey them. Don't sign a contract if you're not going to be able to show the top players in the world. I don't think there's anyone on Twitter, anyone in the golfing world who would rather see the 60-year-olds play on the senior tour than to watch Rory McIlroy, Rickie Fowler, and Jordan Spieth on a Sunday. So that's just ridiculous.
It really is. And I really don't know what they're doing from their point of view either. As you said, maybe there's contracts, maybe there's not. But if there is, why are you signing them?
Exactly.
Why is the PGA Tour giving up that much money? Not a single person today cared about the PGA Tour champions over the CJ Cup, and that's what they were showing. That just wasn't what they needed to be doing. It feels like this is on repeat at this point. There's a problem every week with the PGA Tour coverage, whether it's like commercials or, who knows? It's probably going to be something else next week, but it's just, especially this week, this was as ridiculous as I've ever seen it. I saw Rory Tracker tweet this, and he was like, let me actually pull up the tweet because it was very well worded.
Yeah, they took it while you're pulling that up.
Yeah.
They kind of took an L this week because they had 3 of the most marketable guys in the game outside of Tiger in the final group at some point on the weekend. Yeah. Spieth was there on Saturday.
Yeah.
Rory and Rickie were there on Sunday, and you only got to see about half of it. Yeah.
So before I have the tweet pulled up, but so Mary, obviously, who we talked about last pod, she was there this week. She sent me some interesting comments, not only from Jordan on the range that we'll go into later, but also about the all the cameras there, and she said that there was no lack of ability to produce the tournament. I mean, she said that there were cameras everywhere, tons of cranes going up. And as so here, now I'll read the tweet. Rory Charles said, blah, blah, blah. You don't understand the TV contracts, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I don't care. It shouldn't be this hard to watch the entire final round of the last group in a limited field event in 2021. And I mean, that says it all. I mean, if you really have to obey the contracts and you can't get it on Golf Channel, I mean, stream it online. I mean, find something. Right. I mean, there was not a single way to watch the front nine today.
Yeah, they didn't even have PGA Tour Live going. Like, I mean, what's that
to
about?
Be honest, who cares? I don't need announcers. Like, to be honest, the announcers make the product worse most of the time on PGA Tour Live. But like, I mean, man, just find a way to show the golf. I mean, especially when Jordan is playing like he did yesterday and just being, I mean, yesterday was one of the most frustrating rounds I've ever watched, but I mean, following that over Shot Tracker makes it even worse. I mean, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what he's doing wrong. We don't know whether he's misclubbing. We don't know, like, it's just, it's ridiculous.
And another thing is, like, if they have all those cameras out there, sometimes in the shot tracking app, they'll upload the video a little bit after they upload the shot, right? Where that, like, it goes blue and then you can click and watch the video. Like,
even that, yeah.
Like, how is that? I guess who knows how difficult that is to do, but it seems like something they should be able to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, that shouldn't even really be a problem for a limited field event. Like, they should just have the final group. They should have full coverage that day. So
I mean, I tweeted this yesterday, and at this point in 2021, there's no excuses. The PGA Tour is giving out $50,000 a year to people like Jordan Spieth, who are multimillionaires, for playing 15 events in a season, which they were going to do anyways. I mean, the fact that they aren't putting that $50,000 towards showing every single shot. I mean, it's 2021. You can watch every NFL game, no matter where you are. If you pay enough money, I'm willing to pay the money. I don't think any of us, I mean, we pay $70 for a pretty poor product right now.
That's
and I'd be happy to pay $150 if I could be guaranteed to see every shot he hits. It's just, I mean, there has to be a way. The PGA Tour has so much money. And it's ridiculous at this point. I mean, it's a joke at sometimes, but I mean, if Jordan Spieth is seriously in contention today, I mean, if I'm a Rory fan, I'm kind of pissed off that I couldn't watch that front nine today. Especially since it's a big event. Like, I mean, this is a great field.
And the biggest event this fall.
And I totally understand if you can't put it on Golf Channel because of contracts, but find a way to stream it. Like, find a way to get it somewhere where you can watch it. And that's really all I have to say. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll keep going because I have a lot of stuff I'd like to get off my chest regarding PGA Tour Live. It is a piece of crap product. And that's putting it nicely. We pay $10 a month. It freezes up constantly. There's at least probably a 15 to 20 second delay. The announcers don't know what they're talking about half the time, and they show these stupid power rankings on strokes gained. They're just, I mean, golf, it's not like a sports team where their standing is based on how they've played all year. Golf, I mean, there's trends in golf. There's weekly trends. So they're showing stuff that's based on a year-long basis when they show those power rankings, when it's a what have you done for me lately type deal. What have you done the last 3 tournaments? And they don't pay enough attention to that. And then it's just overpriced. I said it's $10 a month. And I don't mind forking it out, but if I'm going to fork it out, you got to make it a better product. And it's not a very good product.
It's not. I mean, even when you're featured, we don't get all the shots shown.
No, there's a commercial going on while I was hitting a shot, and I'm paying $10 a month for that.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's annoying. It really is annoying because, again, that's money that we're paying, and we're just not getting a good product in return.
Yeah. I mean, one last thing before we move on, maybe, unless you guys have more to add, but I do think there was a contract signed with Amazon, I believe, maybe a year ago or something, saying that they're gonna put more money into showing shots and whatnot.
Well, I think they're moving to ESPN Plus next year
Thankfully.
instead of
okay.
NBC Sports Gold. So I
Okay,
think
that's
that
good.
ESPN has a very good reputation
Yeah,
of
ESPN Plus is really good.
I mean, they've always had great coverage of the PGA. ESPN Plus has been great with the NHL so far. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, I genuinely feel like the PGA Tour Live product was better when it was free than it is now at $70 a year. Because it was free like 5 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. You just watch it right on the app. But it's gotten really bad now. So
yeah, nothing we can do about it, I guess.
nothing we can do about it. Yeah.
Other than rant, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, which we will, and we enjoy it.
Yeah,
we
we
do.
will for sure.
So Jordan Spieth this week, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, I think we need to start with a positive, and that is that he is driving the golf ball very well right now, and that is very good to see.
Yes,
I would say that driving the golf ball has been the most consistently good part of his game this summer. I mean, other than the Northern Trust, I can't remember a tournament where where we were like, just hit a fairway, Jordan. Like his
Right.
wedges and irons have been inconsistent.
Mhm.
We'll go into the putter later. But I mean, it's very good to see. It seems like he's really put a lot of work into that, and I'm sure he's happy, because there's not, as much as missing 5-foot putts is frustrating, there's nothing more frustrating than being on a roll and then blasting one out of bounds. So to be able to be confident over the ball with water out of bounds, lurking right or left, and to be able to hit a fairway now automatically is great to see.
Yeah, thankfully the days of blasting one out of bounds after making 3 straight birdies are thankfully over.
That was so bad.
When's the last time he's hit one OB? I guess Northern Trust, but
I
don't know.
honestly don't really have much recollection.
Wasn't
I don't
Northern
know.
Trust 2 in a row out of bounds?
it might have been 2 in a row on the water.
That was a hazard, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He still
this-
splashes quite a bit.
exactly. But like, that's it. I mean, if you take away Northern Trust, where he just drove it horrendously, I mean, it's been a really nice show of display he's put on. So, I mean, if he can carry that into 2022, I know we got a while to go.
Yeah.
Just get everything else up to speed. Hopefully, I think we'll hopefully start 2022 strong.
Yeah.
This week, sorry, Bob. This week was particularly impressive.
Yeah.
Statistically, but also just the confidence that he seemed to have whenever he actually saw a tee shot and he stepped up with driver, right? So he was fifth off the tee in strokes gained, which for Jordan Spieth is like that wins golf tournaments right there. He drove it well enough to win the golf tournament this week. Driving accuracy, not great in comparison to the field, but he started strong 11 and then 10. Saturday was not a great day, but there were a lot of first cuts in there too. So
But like, again, I feel like he's missing close to the fairway.
His
Yeah.
dispersion's nice.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
his dispersion's nice. Like I get, like Jordan Spieth is never going to be Rory McIlroy off the tee. Like it's just not going to happen. He's never been one of the best drivers of the golf ball. And for your misses to be in fairway bunkers instead of trees is great. I mean, Jordan's pretty good at a fairway bunkers, and as much as I don't like them because it's hard to attack from there, it's much better than some of the alternatives, and that's what you like to see in the end. If your misses are misses, you'd like them to be as good as possible.
Keep him on the
and-
earth.
Yeah, exactly. And this week, you could get in trouble if you hit one offline this week. You could get in the desert, you could get a bad break. And there was desert or water on both sides of the hole. And for the most part, the worst he was in was a fairway bunker, maybe some thick-ish rough that got a little extra water or whatever.
Yep.
So it really wasn't that bad. And he tends to tell you if it's a good tee shot or not, right? With twirl or a little like grimace, and it's like he's leaning. But every time he was leaning this week, it just like
Yeah.
hopped in the first cut and then maybe bounced in the
Yeah.
bunker. It's
So
like it wasn't a oh my God, he's leaning, stay in bounds, you
Yeah.
know. So he's made very good strides with the driver, and
Agreed.
that was good to see this week.
Yeah. So what I want to know your thoughts on, do you guys think this week was a success? Do you guys think it was, because I feel like our expectations are always a little bit too high for him. I feel like if he's ever in contention, we expect him to win, and anything less is a disappointment. But he hadn't really had particularly good form coming in. He hadn't played in a month, and he really hasn't played a stroke play event in 6-7 weeks. And he's having a baby in a month and a half. So to be able to get out of here with the top 20, I feel like we all would have taken that at the start of the week. As much as Saturday really kills, because even par on this golf course is really like a 2-3 over round, because it's just, I mean, there's 6 holes that are reachable in under regulation, which is not something you see very often. And we can talk about that. He played those holes really poorly. He played the par 5s and the drivable par 4s very, very poorly this week. And that cost him.
Going back to your original question, I definitely say it was a success.
Yeah.
He's still, I know, a really easy golf course, but he finished 18 under for the week. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're shooting 18 under, you got to be doing something well. I mean, he even said it on Friday. They asked him after his round, what did you think? What do you think of the course? And he's like, I told Michael coming in, I don't really think this is a venue for me, because he likes to play in the wind, and there's like no wind there. And he's also said he hasn't practiced a lot. So, I mean, to come out and get a top 20 in a pretty good field at a course that doesn't fit him, and he hasn't practiced, I mean, I don't really know how you could say it's not a good result, even though how Saturday went.
Yeah, it was disappointing in the sense of it could have been more, but at the same time, it's a success because he got some FedEx Cup points, which will help down the stretch. He got some OWGR points, which will keep him around 12, 13. And it was just fun. Like, he played some good golf the first 2 days, and it was fun to like watch it sort of and be a part of it and like experience it. And we didn't think that would happen until January. So it was definitely a good week. I mean, a top 20. We talked before about in the preview pod about like we just shouldn't really have expectations, and it could go really poorly or it could go pretty well because he's just a good golfer, and it went pretty well because he's just a good golfer. So I think that's the good thing, right? Is like he played well off the tee. He made a lot of birdies like he normally does.
And he left a lot out there.
Right. Yeah,
Per usual.
The wedges were well, I'm sure we'll get into it, but the wedges were like,
we can go into that right now. I mean, the wedges were by far the most disappointing, because that's something we saw improve over the summer, kind of progressively. I mean, the Northern Trust, he hit his wedges great. And they just, I mean, he could not get a wedge inside 10 feet this week. It was really poor.
Yeah, it was something that I had mentioned.
He was missing greens.
What pod, but I was excited about how well he was hitting his wedges, because it seemed like every wedge he hit in the playoffs was like 10 feet, 5 feet, sometimes in, right? And it's like, that's how you know you're dialed. You know, that's how you win golf tournaments, is to be dialed with the wedges. And this week he was the opposite of dialed. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
There were the yardages were off, the lines weren't good. And it's like, you know, who knows how the ball reacted when it hit the green, because we couldn't watch it. But like the Tourcast just had him all over the place with the wedges. And I'm sure he's very frustrated by that, because that is in theory his bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure. I know we're going to get into the putter later, but I think, I mean, in my opinion, I know Bob's 100% going to disagree with me here. I think the irons are honestly just as much a worry as the putter is at the moment. You look at the stats, it's nuts. His iron play really peaked from like the March to May period. And ever since, it's drastically gotten worse.
I
And
don't disagree because I feel like he's putting himself in positions where he's making stupid bogeys from 160 yards out in the fairway. And that's just bogeys you can't make if you want to win. I mean, if you're going to make bogeys, you better make them good if you're going to win. Like, you can't be making stupid bogeys, like leaving it short from 138 on the par 3 in the bunker and making a 4. Like, you just can't be doing that. I mean, I don't disagree. I think both are equally as troublesome. I just feel like that the putter is really sticking out because the putter has not been inconsistent, really. The putter's really been a struggle for a while. I mean, I can't really think of a week where he's been putting, and I get there are weeks where he makes everything, but at the same time,
there's not a lot of those weeks.
I don't care. I look at a week where he's making 30 footers. It's a lucky week. Like, I want him making the 10 footers. Those are the ones he needs to make. And he's not making them under pressure, and he's not converting on birdie chances. And he's not, as you said, with the irons, he's not giving himself many. So to not be converting is a problem.
Oh, it's frustrating. I mean, we flashed back a year ago and we're complaining, why can't you just get it in play to give us a shot? I mean, he's getting it in play now.
Yeah.
And the irons, I mean, ever since about May, they haven't been good. I mean, he was March through May a top 5, top 3 iron player in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not at that level anymore. I mean, of
Right.
course, we're going into a new year in 2+ months, so we'll see where he is, but it hasn't been great since May.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
had
yeah,
his
you go.
moments at the end of the summer. I think of round 3 at the US Open where he was just hitting everything to
That
like
was nuts.
5. I think I
Best
I
strokes
tweeted
gained
it
approach
out.
round.
It was
of the year.
like six shots gained on the field on approach, and the next closest guy was like 2.5.
That was
and
his
he
best
still-
round of his career.
He still shot like only 3 under or something because he couldn't make a putt. And then obviously the irons were dialed at the Open as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. There was just some, with the way he's been driving it, you would think that he would be hitting some better iron shots because he's hitting them from the fairway, and
Yeah.
it seems a little like the opposite. Like, because he's putting it in the fairway, he should be hitting better iron shots, but it seems like he's just not as dialed as I guess we think he could be, but it is what it is. I'm sure he'll be ready for Hawaii in
I
January.
think another thing that's like with the irons, I feel like the one I know we talked about this before, not on the pod, but like just in the chat. We feel like the one sort of thing that stuck with him through the slump was that he was always a really good long iron player. Like, he was always very good at hitting greens and getting him close from 200 yards. That's really dipped off. I mean,
Yeah.
he's missing greens. I mean, now I look at 190 yards and I'm like, all right, let's just make a par. Like, I mean,
Right. Yeah,
because 190 is not, for the average golfer, 190 is like a 5-6-4 iron. I mean, for him, that's an 8-9 iron. I mean, an 8-7 iron. I mean, you need to be hitting greens from 190 most of the time. So like, that's not a bladed 4 iron that he's hitting from there. I mean, they hit it a long way, and he just hasn't been good from really any range. I feel like 150 is probably his best number, but even that's struggling.
Yeah, I think he was late on a lot of his longer iron shots this week. There was a lot of like, it starts right and it stays right. And it's not super far offline that it's troublesome, but it's just like not what he was trying to do. So he wasn't very good. Yeah, he was a decent iron player this week from like 135 to 175, and then from 50 to 125 he was atrocious for his standards.
I agree.
And then above like 180 he was below average, not good. So lots to clean up there, but I'm sure he's got other things on his mind, and he'll work on it when it comes time to do so. But it was just fun to see him play this week and play some pretty good golf for a couple days.
So I know the elephant in the room, obviously, is the putter. I'm just going to go ahead right now and say, for the first time, I believe, it's kind of been, but I truly believe that the putter is a liability at this point. I mean, it's no longer on the short putts, like he's playing too much break in them. I mean, he's missing them every which direction. His stroke is just off. He's not hitting his lines. His stroke is not on its game right now, and there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, you can't count on him to make. You remember how he used to always make the putts that he was given reads from before? He's not making those anymore. Because usually with Jordan he wasn't really a great reader of the greens from short range, and he always struggled from that range. But when he was given a read, he would always make it, because I mean, his stroke has been pretty pure throughout his career, and it just hasn't been like that recently. And I have no faith in him to make a 10-footer at this point, which is frustrating, because on the PGA Tour, if you're in contention, you need to be converting on 40-50% of the opportunities you're given inside of 8 feet. You can't be missing 50% of your 10-footers and expect to win a golf tournament. It's simple as that.
Yeah, most of the tournament winners, I don't know what the stat is, but like at Valero, he made everything inside of 10 feet, especially on Sunday. When you look at Bryson, the way he wins is he makes everything inside of 10 feet. Rory this week made pretty much everything inside of 10 feet, right? So you're hitting the shots to get pretty good looks at making the putt inside of 10 feet. And I just don't think he has any confidence. He caught so many lips and burned a lot of edges on Saturday. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's just not given it the role it's not a role that is inspired with like belief and confidence that it's going to go in. It's like I'm going to hit it on this line, and I think it should go in, but I don't really
And then
know.
he misses his line. Like, I mean,
Right.
and then it just everything's wrong in the head. I mean,
A lot of quick walks.
Yeah, a lot of quick walks.
A lot of quick walks. And they all ended up like 2 inches from the hole, which is always funny, because it's like, he starts walking. I'm like, it's like 5 feet short. And then it's like, just missed by a centimeter.
I mean, we know that. I've never been worried about his speed. I feel like there are weeks where he doesn't have the speed right and he 3 putts, and that I'm less worried about, because I mean, Jordan Spieth is, if I had to take anyone in the world to hit if I need a 2-putt and I need someone to hit the first one, I mean, Jordan Spieth is that guy. I mean,
Not the second one.
Not the second one, but I'll take the second one. But I mean, you just see him effortlessly put 70-footers to 3 feet, and that goes over some people's heads. Because if you're on the green in 2 on a par 5 and you have 70 feet, you're expected to birdie. But I mean, there's so much gift in that, to be able to put every single 55-footer to tap in range. I mean, it's crazy. But that's not the problem.
I think the good news regarding the putter is, number one,
and
I mean, this isn't a good thing, but it's average. It's not bad. I mean, I think I mentioned this in one of the prior episodes. Our expectations are top 10 in strokes gained every week, and it's kind of not possible. But yeah, I'm gonna slightly disagree with you there, from the standpoint that I feel like recently it has been. I mean, what did he finish this week, Dan, in strokes gained putting?
Well, statistically, like Saturday, he only, as much as it seemed like he didn't make anything, he only lost half a stroke on the greens.
He was 40th strokes gained putting for the week,
which is like below.
Okay, so that is average,
slightly below average, barely.
Yeah. All right, that's actually not as bad as I thought. All right.
Right, but I think what has killed his strokes gained numbers in the past is missing the 3-footers.
Yeah,
right? It's like everybody, you miss the 3-footer, you're losing like 3/4 of a stroke on the field. But this week, I think he just didn't. I guess he missed a couple 5-footers, but he didn't really miss any bunnies. It was just more he just didn't make anything from like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 feet.
Yeah.
So that's not really gonna hurt your strokes gained numbers too over time. It will, right? But it's not really gonna penalize you big time like missing a 2-footer or whatever.
Right.
So that's why his numbers kind of around average. But the putter definitely did not pop this week.
No, I mean, it's very hard to win with an average putter. But just going back to my point, as you alluded to, Bob, I mean, he's got 3 months off or 2.5 or whatever the heck it is. He's going to come back with a clean slate, and I'm sure mentally that's going to do him wonders. So, I mean, it's going to be – I don't think it's fair when we do our recap pod of how Kapalua goes. We can't really say –
No, I don't know.
No, he putted bad his last tournament, it was 3 months ago. It's a completely new slate.
Completely new.
That'll be awesome when we get there.
Yeah. And I think I think we can rant about the putter as long as we want. We're all concerned. But at the same time, this is not nearly as bad as the driving was, and he fixed it. And we know Jordan, as much as he wants to win, he will find a way to fix it no matter what it takes. So I would be worried short term, but he has 3 months off. So
that is the short term.
Yeah, he'll get it figured out. So that's as much as I have on that. And we'd be oblivious to not talk about Robert Streb. We had some interesting comments that we made about him, about his irrelevancy. And he went out and fired a 61 in the first round, right in our faces.
Right in your face.
Right in my face.
On my face.
Right.
I
think me and Jordan were the ones who
were
really about it. I don't know if Dan really believed it.
I mean, if you listen to the preview,
Dan remembered when he won.
I told you to put money on a Robert Streb top 10.
You did. Yeah.
Top 10.
But that was really cool. And I don't know if I speak for you guys, but Robert Streb has gained a fan in me.
Oh, for sure.
I was rooting for Robert Streb all week this week. Because that was just really cool. And we feel like it's we want to get him on the pod really badly. So we're gonna work on that. Because I feel like that would be fitting. But I mean, it just goes to show that the gap in talent is so little. I mean, even who is that SH Kim guy from Korea who's in like Q school, who's leading or who was up there by the lead after 2 rounds? I mean, it just shows. So like all of those guys can compete out there in any given week.
Yeah, I think the people on Golf Channel were saying that SH Kim will be back on the like second
second stage of qualifying.
Yeah. And it's like he's playing in the CJ Cup and he's having a pretty good week. And then next week he's just going to be back in like the at a level that is not even close to the PGA Tour, even though clearly he competed. So there's a lot of really talented golfers out there. And Robert Streb is one of them. And it was just so funny to see him post that 61 because he kind of just like somehow ended up in the preview pod. Like that was not our plan to talk about Robert Streb in the preview pod. And then he shows up and he takes the lead after round 1.
It was hilarious. I was laughing hysterically about it. I mean, he was 7 under through 6.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was crazy. And I mean, it's just like, it's coincidences like that just like, it baffles me. But at the same time, it's just like,
these guys are good.
Exactly. I mean, there's no other way to really say it. I mean, Robert Streb has won the same amount of times as Jordan Spieth in the last 365 days. So think about that for a second. Not saying that is a knock on Spieth. I'm just saying that like anyone can catch fire in a given week. And that's why I always had faith that he was going to come back and win, because if Stuart Sink can come back and win at the Safeway last year out of nowhere, then and Martin Laird at the Shriners, I mean, Jordan Spieth has too much talent. So
Right.
it's just-
Speaking of comebacks, Rickie Fowler made a
yes,
nice comeback this week. I know
A nice
Sunday
comeback.
did not go that well, and it was kind of a I don't want to. It was kind of a classic Rickie Sunday,
Vintage
way.
Rickie.
but at
Yeah.
the same time, he's like he hasn't played this good in a long time, so
So-
it's really awesome to see. But going in, he actually so he finished the week first in tee to green.
Yeah.
So he flushed it, and he lost 2.5 strokes putting on Sunday. That's not how you
Wild.
win. That's not how you win a golf tournament, right there.
I mean,
But it's better that it's the putter and not the other stuff, because sometimes you just don't make anything. So it's good to see Rickie Fowler hitting the ball the way that he hit
Yeah.
the ball, because that's
he was
really how you
his
contend.
his ball striking was really good. And I will say, I think when it comes to Ricky, I talked about this to Ricky Legion in DMs about how the game's there. I think it's mental at this point, and I think he's just got to get over that hump, kind of like Spieth had to. Ricky is nowhere near as talented as Spieth is, but at the same time, Ricky has been on the stage before, and he knows what it takes to get there, and he will get there again. I truly believe that. And this week did kind of suck for his fans, I'm sure. Just to it was kind of like our waste management. We're like we
I
were
was thinking the
we
same
were
thing.
so high on him after that second round, after that third round, that like anything other than a win on Sunday was disappointment. And I think that's fine, but at the same time, you have to look at where he's coming from. And I just want to pull up the stat, because I found this fascinating. Rickie Fowler has co-led after 54 holes 8 times in his career. And on Sunday, out of all those 8 times, he has never broke 70.
Oh,
He's never
Sunday
broke
Scary
70.
is right there,
Even at
folks.
the Waste Management in 2019, when he won, he shot 70.
jeez.
So
JT
That's
gave
not
that one to
great.
him.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he did. Yeah.
This one,
Nice.
I'll be an optimist here and say that this one was a little bit different, because it's the first time Rickie Fowler has played really good golf in a long time. I couldn't tell you the last time Rickie Fowler was like up on the leading strokes gained tee to, not even, doesn't even have to be leading strokes gained tee to green, but just like top 10, top 5, like in contention, holding a 54 hole lead. And it takes time, even though he's a guy who's had 54 hole leads and has played in the final group on Sunday with the chance to win. After such a long hiatus from doing so, it just takes a while to feel comfortable in that spot.
And we saw
again.
that with Spieth.
Yeah,
last
Spieth
year.
talked about that a lot, about how it's difficult to feel comfortable in those scenarios when you haven't been in them in a while.
Yeah.
So, but it was awesome to see Rickie playing well again.
No, I mean,
because-
I was rooting for him behind Streb the entire tournament. I mean, it's just like, I mean, how could you not root for Rickie? I mean, I know people say, how can you not root for JT? And I don't root for JT, but I mean, Rickie is just like, I feel like I can see why Rickie's kind of that guy that the PGA Tour forced down our throats a long time ago. Like,
yeah,
when he wasn't, like, when people like kind of like what they were doing with Matt Wolf a while ago, and now that's kind of stopped. But I don't really Rickie is not a superstar by any means, but he's a very good golfer, and he's been in the big stage before. I mean, I think there was a year where he finished top 5 in all 4 majors.
yeah.
And it's great to see him hit the ball well again. That's what you said. I mean, he's a good putter. He's always been a really good putter inside 10 feet. And I feel like the pressure kind of got to him. I feel like his game's there. And I feel like that will come with time. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd fully agree. I mean, Rickie and Tony Finau are like twins. I mean, you cannot hate those guys. Just top class people. They're great people. They're great for the game, and they're two incredible golfers. And yeah, Rickie, I think, is hopefully for his sake entering January 2021 Jordan Spieth phase, where you get your first dip back into contention, then you start to play consistent golf, and eventually, hopefully, a win will come for him. I mean, it's impossible not to root for Rickie Fowler.
It's awesome to see him play well this week. I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated that it happened kind of this late in the season, right? Where there's not like a ton of events in a row, like when Spieth just played 4
and he's got a baby coming too.
Right. Yeah, he's got some I guess more important things coming.
He's playing next week though. Just to
is he
that.
in the Zozo?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. I'm curious what his odds will be.
The thing about Rickie, the difference between Rickie and Jordan is Rickie is still playing for a lot. Rickie does not have a tour card next year necessarily.
He's not into anything either.
Ricky's not in any of the any of the majors besides the PGA because he'll get the sponsors exemption.
He has his card, right? But he doesn't have like access into the majors
or the players.
Well, next year,
the players.
Don't think so.
Next year he is nothing. If he doesn't finish top 125 in the FedEx Cup this year, which today will help.
Yeah, big time. This should
then his tour card's gone.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
you might get solely in just off today.
It's possible. I don't really think. I mean, what is 125?
Yeah, 125. Oh, so 125 usually finishes around like 300 to 400 points, I think.
Yeah, and
so if you win,
this week,
you make it.
Today. Yeah.
And Rickie Fowler got 162 points this week.
Okay.
And I'm sure next week's also no cut, right? The Zozo. Yeah. So I'm sure if he gets another good finish there, then that won't be a problem for him, and he'll start working his way back into majors and whatnot, and
which is good for golf.
Which is good for golf for sure. Did anybody see what his OWGR is now?
86.
82.
Okay, because that's a nice move. He was at like 128.
Yeah,
I'm like, geez,
nice to get
back into like that. He was falling fast. So good for
Jordan's
Rickie.
down to 13.
Good for Rickie.
Jordan
down to 13, which is whatever.
Oh, because Rory won.
Rory up to 8.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, Rory.
And then I mean, tough to look past Collins. Play this week too. I mean, he was basically out of contention after round 1 from what I remember, and then he like tore it up the rest of the week. And what did he shoot today? 62.
Yeah, 60.
I think that's great playing.
He's a silent assassin.
Today was 62 because he eagled last. I think.
Did he?
Shot 10 under. Yeah.
Oh, he did. That's right. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What a day. I mean, I thought he was gonna win. So I'm not that surprised.
Yeah.
But he's so good.
It's
kind of unreal how good
he's
that
nasty.
is.
I mean, he shot 10 under with a pretty cold putter today too. I mean, he wasn't making anything on the back 9.
Yeah.
His irons are just so good. I mean,
it's unreal how good this guy is.
I probably mentioned this because it's one of my favorite stats in golf, but his iron dispersion, his 7-iron dispersion is the same as the average pitching wedge dispersion on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so he rolled it pretty well this week actually for Colin Morikawa. He was 11th strokes gained putting.
Really? I was just going off based on what I saw in the back.
Man, when you combine that with 4th on approach to green,
yeah, I mean
that's tough to beat.
Yeah.
It takes Rory doing what Rory did to beat that.
Yeah, I mean Rory was first with putting, so
exactly, and like 3rd or something off the tee too. So
yeah,
man, Colin Morikawa is just going to win a lot of golf tournaments, and this was almost one of them. But
yeah, it was.
What a leaderboard too! Like
it was.
Like, it felt
crazy.
The TV coverage kind of
sucked.
Yeah, it sucked, and it kind of, I feel like it took the air out of what this event could have
Could've-
been with the people on the leaderboard. I mean, Rory won, obviously. Morikawa was in the mix. Rickie Fowler was playing good golf for the first time in a while, like really in contention. And Rob Streb, obviously. So like there were some great golfers up there. JT, Spieth, sorry.
Yeah. I think we can go into this now since that kind of correlates to it, is about the low scoring. I had someone talk to me about it, and this is my opinion, is that this was the perfect type of birdie fest. It was on a cool course where big numbers could happen, but low scores can also be shot. It's just, and it would, not to mention it was a cool design. Like, I mean, this is how I get it was very low, but like it was an entertaining birdie fest. And this is how the tour needs to do it. If they're gonna, I'd much rather see 25 under here than 20 under TPC Southwind, because I mean, it's just, this was a fun tournament. I mean, I'm sure you guys will agree with that.
Yeah, I think the only flaw, and this is part of where it's being played, Summit was a really cool course, I thought, but I don't think Vegas is just a good place for a golf tournament, just because people are on the Strip. They're not coming to Vegas to see a golf tournament, which I think is the problem. I mean, there were like no fans out there.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, kind of disappointing. And I don't think there's any limits on fans either. So that was the only thing that really disappointed me. But I mean, the course was cool. It was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it a little more firm, because I think it was kind of wide. I mean, obviously there was trouble if you missed wide, but I think if that place got a little bit firmer and we saw balls bouncing on the green a little bit more, obviously the scores wouldn't be as, like, people wouldn't be shooting as low, but I still think, like, I think this course could play well as a shootout, but also as a, I guess, more difficult test if they allowed it to happen. So
I loved the penalty that the desert brought this week. I thought that was really cool. I thought that, like, where if you were in the desert, you could get lucky maybe and pull a good lie, but most of the time you were like on rocks,
right,
and you had to either pitch out from rocks, which is tough to commit to a shot when you're on rocks, or you had to take it unplayable. And not only that, I mean, I also thought it was pretty cool. This was something that we never saw, was Adam Scott was on a cart path, and his choice was either hitting it from the cart path or taking relief into the desert, and he played it from the cart path because that was the better decision.
Yeah, he almost hold it too.
And he almost hold it, yeah.
Although he missed the putt.
Yeah, actually, I don't remember the
so
putt.
bad.
That's Adam Scott.
He didn't even touch the hole from 2.5 feet.
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was this course was awesome.
This course was great. I loved it.
I think you said it well. Sorry to interrupt you, but if you're gonna have a birdie course, you have it on a course like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally.
And I'm fine with birdie courses every once in a while too. It's just the every week 20 under at boring courses that really annoys me. I mean, again, it just goes back to the TPCs. Like, they're obviously going to promote it, but most of them are just not very fun golf courses to watch. And I will always take a course like this over the Torrey Pines. I think the design plays a lot into it. I feel like if there isn't something to the golf course that makes it unique and makes it fun to watch, visually appealing. I mean, desert golf is fun to watch just because it's really cool. I mean, it was literally fairway, rough, desert. Like, there weren't many like trees other than palm trees, and like a lot of the, not palm trees, but whatever those like palm tree looking trees were. But and then like on the par threes, they were all like islands almost. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see something different for sure.
Yeah.
So I doubt they'll go back.
No.
Unless they really need somewhere to go in the future.
I doubt they'll go back too.
It was cool to see the Summit.
Back to Asia next year, I would believe.
Which I'm fine with. Those are always
True.
pretty fun.
Nine Bridges is a cool course.
Iron Bridge is a cool
I
course.
think it deserves this tournament
Absolutely.
for sure. So
And there's, yeah, I don't remember the Sozo course very much.
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty
Zozo,
boring,
yeah.
but
I mean Tiger won, so they
Yeah.
always have to keep going back there now.
True.
but I remember the WGC China being pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that event's just like gone now, which kind of sucks.
No,
but-
I think it was just the
It
same
got canceled
thing.
this year
Yeah.
for COVID.
Oh really?
They didn't even want to bring it here. Yeah.
What's
they just
so
canceled
there's
it.
only 2 WGCs then?
Yeah, the
Right?
match
Because
play and
so it's match play in China.
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So only
Yeah,
one this year.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That'll be I guess it's a year away, but that'll be a fun swing.
Hopefully
to
Jordan
go-
will play it. I
Yeah.
hope
He will.
plays
He
it.
usually does.
Yeah, he didn't.
They're really good to him over there. Yeah. And not to mention, I just thank God Jordan does not have to play golf club to Chapultepec again. I mean,
I love the
thank
Chipotle.
God. No, that course is. Oh my God, that
I
course
ca-
is literally built for Jordan. Just if you built a course for Jordan Spieth to shoot over par at, that's what that would be.
Yeah, that's probably true. But the altitude I think is cool.
It's cool, and I love how the first hole is drivable. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, even though it's like 380 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like
But after that, I feel like it's pretty boring. So
Oh, that course stinks. It has that
Yeah.
one par three I cannot stand with the tree that's like on in the middle of the hole.
oh yeah, I remember that.
Par
Yeah,
three
yeah,
with the water. Oh,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
yeah. That course. Yeah, of course.
there's good fans. The
sucks.
fans are awesome down there though.
Yeah.
Like
They
they
still have the tournament. It's just not a WGC. So
Yeah. So
I wonder how many people will actually go then.
JT
Is
will
it-
go. JT's beloved
Is
down
it
there.
who won last time? Was it Patrick Reed?
Yeah.
He probably has to go.
And then
too.
Mickelson the year before.
Oh, that's right. Because he took down JT.
Yeah. JT hold out too on 18 to tie.
Oh,
That was crazy.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to talking about Chapultepec.
Well,
but-
back, but yeah, we can move on to. Oh, what a great topic to move on to. Me getting thrown out of my own account this week. I don't know what you guys think about like curses and stuff. I don't know. I'm a pretty how do you say this? I'm a pretty superstitious fan myself. But at the same time, as much as I'd love to control how he's playing, who's tracking on my account has literally no.
I don't know about that.
It
Like-
definitely was proven. I remember it was really funny. I mean, on Friday I tracked 3 holes, and his holes were bogey, par, and a par 5. So that's not a very good track record. But
Yeah, I feel like you just had a tough week on the tracking. Like
I feel like
every time you were tracking, it just like he did make a
Yeah.
putt or something.
yeah, I felt betrayed. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I feel like there are weeks where when I'm tracking, it's the opposite. Like I'm
Yeah.
the good luck and the backups to the bad luck.
I mean,
but
it's
again-
also just like Jordan in general.
I-
Like,
I
he's just kind of
wasn't-
a streaky-ish
Yeah.
guy where he'll
Yeah.
make 8 birdies in 14 holes, and then he'll make
Yeah.
a bogey, or he'll make like 2 bogeys in 3 holes, and it's like, well, that's
And I-
kind of
and I
just
know
how it goes.
I know I wasn't able to track much this week, but I also wasn't planning on him playing this event in advance. So yeah. Another thing, you guys are gonna have to like so November 3rd through 6th, I'm going on a trip, no phone. So I need to pray that the baby does not come then. Because I will have no way of knowing, and I don't want to come back to having my page be dead for 3 days after the baby happened. So we're praying it doesn't come then. But I
Yeah.
do kind of feel like Jordan won't announce it right away anyways.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
So-
It'll be like we might not find out till Hawaii. It's like, what'd you
Yeah.
name your kid? Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's entirely possible that might be the case. I mean, he's not a very social
He's
media
not, no.
type person.
No,
Though
although-
he's kind of upping the ante
Yeah. Well,
recently.
his
media
manager,
team's doing a
somebody
heck of a
is,
job, yeah.
Well, now there's the PIP, so
True. Pip. He's
Yeah.
He's already solidified his spot on that list.
Yeah.
Although I will
he was
say,
number 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Annie posts something, and then somebody who follows her will leak it at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I don't think she accepted me. Probably not. I mean,
No, I'm
I
still
track her
on,
husband's every move. So I
yeah.
probably wouldn't accept me either, but
No,
I
she's
want-
awesome though. I mean, I was out
yeah,
at BMW early
she
in the
is.
summer, and she's pregnant, and that course is a haul. And
Yeah,
she's,
you were
I
talking
mean,
about that,
kicking the course's butt. So
Yeah.
shout out to Annie.
Yeah, Jordan's
Yeah.
got such a great supporting cast. It's kind of
Yeah.
unreal. Like
Yeah.
like everybody around him seems to just be like committed to helping him be better.
Yeah.
It's a team.
Do good things,
Yeah.
and like he's talked about that, and that's really cool, to get that kind of support and trust and love from people that you care about and that care about you. So
Yeah.
went from baby to team talk real fast, but
I feel like so another thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, I've been saying SH Kim most because I don't want to type it, but I also don't want to say it because I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. But so SH Kim's penalty, did you see that? Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. I feel like Twitter went bonkers over that, even though I feel like it was always gonna happen, because obviously the PGA makes up rules as they go. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if that ball was always going in, why does it not count? Like, I feel like at some point you have to set a limit because then people would just wait there for hours.
That's
think-
my point of view.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think you can set a limit, but then you don't necessarily have to enforce it though. Like I think if you have like a limit of, what is it, 10 seconds?
Yeah.
And then you're like, you can let it go a little bit. And you don't really have to enforce it because people will still think like 10 seconds. And like nobody actually wants to sit there for 5 minutes and see if it goes in the hole. Because at a certain point it's just like not gonna go in.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But yeah, I know No Laying Up was having a frenzy with that one. Yeah, it's just, again.
I don't think it's frenzy worthy. I mean, you can't stand there.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's a pace of play thing, and then like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Come
what also how I guess that shot might be really important to him though.
Yeah.
I don't
You know
even
what I'm
think he
saying? Like,
knew of. I don't.
money wise, status wise, especially for SH Kim. Like if that was Jordan, it'd be like, are you kidding me that just slipped out and didn't go in? But at
Oh my
the end of the
God, can
day-
you imagine us if that was Jordan? We would have been flipping out.
Well, it was
That's
kind
the
of like
bias we have.
it was kind of Ryder Cup. It just didn't go in.
Yeah.
Like that one putt on 12 that just went all the way around the hole and then like halfway around again.
I mean, I guess mathematically that's true, but I mean, there's no way he loses if that goes in. I mean, the momentum's changed. I feel like they win that match if that goes in because he missed 4 straight makeable putts after that.
Yeah, that was not
It's
good.
just that again, it's a very mental game.
Yeah, I feel like the putter. I know we talked about this earlier, but there's just a lack of like confidence that it's going in. Like
Yeah.
it just feels like everything's gonna like maybe lip in, maybe lip out.
Yeah.
There's no like this is going right in the middle of the hole. And he
Friday
hasn't.
time off will be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree with
So
that.
a few more things. Oh, so Keith Mitchell, that was crazy. I mean, what was he, 16 under through 27 holes? That was absurd. That was an
That's
absurd
ridiculous.
run. That was an absurd run. I mean, I'm sure if you're an avid golf fan, you know how rare it is for someone to shoot back-to-back really low rounds. I mean, that's why you see most people follow up 61s with 72s because it's just those deep rounds take so much out of you. I mean, I'm sure this kind of translates to the amateur game well. Like if you go shoot your personal record, you probably don't go out and beat it the next day. It's just that it was crazy. I mean, he had his stuff for 2 days in a row, and then obviously it was impossible to sustain because the second day he was just making every single putt imaginable.
I think he had gained like 8 strokes the first 2 days.
Yeah,
or
Putting,
something.
just putting. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
The putting,
ridiculous.
And he, to start a tournament 62, 64.
Yeah,
It was unreal. And then Saturday he started off pretty good too until he snap hook or bail right into the desert, and then back-to-back doubles kind of cost him the tournament. But nonetheless, a good week for him. So
he finished T3. So
yeah, that's finished strong.
Payday.
So yeah, that's a good payday in both in terms of money, but also like FedEx Cup and OWGR stuff as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, especially OWGR, because I don't even know if Keith Mitchell's Masters qualified yet. So
yeah, where
that's
is
on
he
his
in the
radar.
OWGR?
Let's see if I can find
Did
it.
Nosferatu?
I'm
put him in
looking.
there?
I don't 92. So yeah, it's a good
Okay.
week for him, I assume. Moving
Yeah.
on closer.
Yeah, so he's still got his work cut out for him, but
Good for
But
him.
good.
He seems like a pretty nice guy as well. So
yeah, he seems like a cool dude
Yeah.
for sure.
So I wanted to talk about kind of a random player, but it also kind of ties in with Sam Burns because obviously Sam Burns has been playing some
he's
absurd.
on-
I mean, he's on the
he's on a
leaderboard every
heater.
single week. But so I was looking at Aaron Wise recently. He switched to kind of like the Bernard Longer putting stroke, and ever since then he's been. I mean, he's always had one bad round, but so like the past, like this week he finished tied for 5th. Last week he finished tied for 8th after going 68, 62, and then a 71 in the middle, and then 66. And then the same thing at the Sanderson Farms, he went 68, 66, 67, 72. He gives me Sam Burns vibes from what happened. This is like kind of Sam Burns back in the spring when he like was co-leading the Genesis and then finally broke out the Valspar. Is that where we won?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I expect Aaron Wise to win soon because I know that's very random, but he has been playing really good golf, and it's just kind of, I mean, if you're making putts, you're in contention. I mean, it's simple as that. He's hitting the ball really well. It's kind of a random thought. His form is one of the best, I feel like, right now on tour. So watch out for him.
Yeah, and I'd imagine he will play more before the tour takes a break in December. So like he'll have some more events to try and capitalize off this good form. But yeah, he's been playing some really good golf. I've seen his name on the leaderboard quite a bit. I don't know a ton about him, but
yeah, I don't really either. I've been just obviously because he has a tracker that I've got to know, but yeah, I mean, there's something about him recently that's been really sticking out to me, and I feel like it made sense to bring up. And one more thing I do want to touch on before the end of this episode, because this was what happened on the other side of the pond this week, was the course Valderamma, which some people, which kind of
golf course.
It's quite a golf course. The winning score was 6 under this week, and the cut was like +3,
+5,
+5.
That's awesome.
+5.
Wow.
It made John Rahm look like
John Rahm
amateur.
shot. What did John Rahm shoot? 11 over?
79, 74.
78, 74.
78, 74.
Jeez.
And that was still top 100 out of the top of 130. That's ridiculous. I feel like we got to bring this up because I mean, I feel like it kind of deserves an open at some point. We don't see opens in Spain ever, but it's been gaining a lot of traction recently. The past few years, I didn't watch any of the tournament, but
Yeah, the only problem that comes to mind with that is that it is technically the British Open, right?
yeah,
So it wouldn't be
It
if
could
it was
host a
in
Ryder Cup though. That's
that, yeah.
it has
I think
before. I'm
that-
pretty sure.
I obviously it'd be cool if there was a larger event there.
yeah.
I don't know. This was a decent event though. I mean, Fitzpatrick won.
I think it's
He's
like
a type of
Spanish Masters or something like that.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick is the type of dude to win at this course, though. I feel like when it's really hard, he plays really well.
Yeah.
He said he hates easy golf courses.
Yeah.
So if and he's actually played pretty well at Augusta.
Yeah.
So
well,
if
Augusta National is not an easy golf course by any means.
Right. And if it stays firm and fast this upcoming spring, he could be a guy to look at for a
100%.
top 20, top 10 type situation. I don't know if he'll actually win, but because he hasn't won on the PGA Tour, has he?
I think he's won like
He's-
7 times on the European Tour.
With 7 Euro wins.
I mean, he
so-
won the Tour Championship, like the European Tour Championship.
Oh, that's
Race
right.
to Dubai.
Yeah, the race
Yeah,
to
the race to
Dubai.
Dubai. He didn't win
Yeah.
the race to Dubai, but he won that tournament.
Gotcha. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Lee
Oh,
Westwood
okay.
won
Oh,
the.
he's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Fitzpatrick's a great player. So
Yeah, he is.
yeah, it was funny to see the contrast between that tournament having a +5 cut and this tournament, obviously no cut, but
I mean, the cut.
did anybody finish over par? Maybe Charles Schwartzel.
He did. He was like 7 over.
Oh God. He lost by 32.
He's
Tough
the
week.
only one. No, never mind. Wait.
He lost by more than the Lions lost.
Harris English withdrew, huh? Interesting.
Oh, really?
Interesting. That might be something to monitor. I wonder if he's
Really?
okay.
Yeah. And he withdrew after the front 9 and he shot 32 on the front. Oh, no. He shot. Oh, no. Never
No,
mind.
he was,
He
like,
only finished
even.
8 holes. Never mind.
That's interesting. Actually, it's kind of funny looking at this leaderboard because you've got like Teeth 16 under was T32. That's crazy. And then you go down and you get to like 10 under at T59. And then there's
That's
like
ridiculous. Is
there's-
that true?
there's
Oh
only-
my God.
there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 guys below 10 under par.
If you shot 69 on a par 72 all 4 days this week, you wouldn't even be top 50.
Yeah, you got a T54.
Wow. That is crazy. Wow.
That's insane.
That
I mean,
is-
I'm curious. I want to see Schwartzel's strokes gained numbers because
I don't think he wants to see him.
they're
what did Kokrak end up doing?
Schwartzel lost 21 strokes on the field this week. That's
Kokrak actually had a pretty
insane.
good. Kokrak went 66, 65, 68 after his opening 77.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, he
Yeah,
probably
good
just
for
hit the strip after day
Yeah, good
one.
point.
Kind
True.
of
good
loosened him
point.
up a little bit. So
Good point.
Just
Yeah.
one more note on Valderamma in Spain. That course is short as well. It's not like it's a beefy long golf
So
course.
it's like a Marion almost.
It's a beautiful course. There's trees all over the place. You just gotta golf your ball and hit it straight and keep it in play. It is fun.
No, John Rahm said it's a golf course where you genuinely have to stand over every shot and legitimately think about it.
Yeah,
Like you can't be just like, all right, time to hit driver. Like you have to
Unlike
think
the
about every
crappy
shot.
venues on the PGA Tour where it's just freaking pitch and putt. Yep.
right. Yeah, I think that's a thing that, like with this new distance boom, like I don't think making courses longer is the way to make it harder. I
Can't
think
do that anyway. I mean, it's not.
What are your thoughts on Phil and the USGA? And do you? I don't.
well, that was interesting because like Phil got kind of mad about it. I'm surprised Bryson didn't say anything. JT wasn't too happy with it. But then like Rory was like, yeah, I was at the meetings and everybody seemed to be
Well,
on board
Rory's
with
like
it.
short, so it doesn't affect him anyway.
Rory threw some shade at Phil there a
Yeah.
little bit too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of surprising.
I know
What-
Rory's like, yeah, the players. I don't even think Rory uses a driver of the like length.
No, he's
So,
short.
like,
No.
Yeah.
I
Well, see,
think it
that's
only affects like Phil, so that's why Phil is pissed. at
but
Rory.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like I feel like it's a little unfair.
well, yeah. I don't know why you changed the driver
Because the
'cause
driver
what if
length
there's,
also
like-
has a lot to do with your height.
Yeah, what
so
if
you
you're
have a tall
6'6"?
golfer? Exactly.
and you want to hit
Um,
it, and like that's what fits you the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like just because you're 6'6", like doesn't mean you should be penalized. So I guess
Yeah.
from that sense, from that view, it makes a lot of sense for Phil to be. I mean, Phil's not 6'6", but like
And
to be penalized for being bigger and stronger than everybody else doesn't make a lot of sense. I do think distance is
it's a problem.
somewhat of a
Yeah.
problem, but I think there's a better.
They're handling. That's what I was just gonna say. I
Yeah,
feel
there's a
like they're
better
handling
answer.
it completely wrong. I
I
mean,
think the USGA, instead of focusing on what driver length should be allowed, they should be more focused on just not picking Pebble Beach as a US Open venue.
Yeah, that might be.
yeah,
There's your daily.
There's your-
Pebble
there's your-
Beach slander.
every
Oh,
single
goodness.
episode, we can guarantee it. I was just gonna say, I feel like if the USGA wants to get involved in the distance kind of roundup, like stopping the continuous boom, as you said, the driver's not the place to start.
It's the ball.
It's the
It's
ball.
freaking
I
obvious.
mean,
Yeah, I'd also say Nick Faldo brings this up sometimes about how high people tee the ball, and I think if like you make it so that tees, and his argument is that if you make it so that people can't tee it up as high, then they can't launch it as far. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Is like if you just shorten the length of a tee, then like, and it doesn't have to be so
I feel like
short
that
it's,
changes
like,
golf, though. I feel like that changes the sport because there's some people that use drivers of different lofts, and I feel like if you want the best way to not change the game of golf, but still is by just changing the golf ball, making everyone play the same golf ball. Not the same golf ball, but the same, like, you know what I mean? Specs.
Yeah, because I mean they've
Yeah.
got the brands.
well, but
so-
okay,
Yeah.
so if we roll the golf ball back, then Bryson will still be a gajillion times longer than everybody
Correct.
else.
True,
And
but
that's
scores
and that's
won't be
and
as
that's
well.
what should be.
And that I
Bryson-
which, yeah, that's true.
Bryson should have an
So-
advantage. I don't want to take the advantage away. I want to bring it back for everyone. Bryson should have a distance advantage. Like that's just, I mean, he's
Yeah, no,
worked hard to
I-
get it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the tee thing then, because if by lowering the tee, people, I guess you just can't launch it as far. So in theory, everybody's then closer together in distance, which I guess then reduces Bryson's advantage that he's
But
worked
and
for.
at the same
So
time, I
therefore is
feel like
not as good as rolling the ball back.
yeah, and at the same time, I feel like teeing the ball at a certain height is very personal to you. Like I know my brother tees it up extremely low and it still goes far, but just his driver is lofted a little more. He's able to do that. And he'll sky it if he doesn't. And I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah,
a
but I
different
think
game.
that's kind of what they're trying to get at, though, right? Is like this new version of bomb and turning it into like a pitch and putt is a different version of golf than what the higher ups in golf want. So if I don't know. I don't know enough about this to really
Yeah.
make like a come to a grand conclusion on it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting to see.
It is interesting.
And the more that I think about it, the more I understand Phil's reaction to the news. But and one question about it is like that's just the USGA thing.
Just
Or-
the USGA. But that
so, like-
that will also be in place for the
RNF.
tour because that's the rule
Right.
that they go by. Yeah.
But like so at the Open though, Is
It'd
it
be the same. I think
It would
because
be
the
the
USG
same.
and the RNA pretty much
Okay.
They're
stitch
the
everything
same thing.
together.
Yeah, they create the same.
And like the Masters,
Yep.
Masters, yep, same.
so everybody just can't
yeah,
have longer
exactly.
than 46 inches.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. So before we end, I just want to share a few observations that Mary shared with me about. So when they were on the range, Jordan talked about how he was just on vacation. He
Nice.
did not play golf, and he came to Vegas. What she said? Went home one day of practice and then came to Vegas on Wednesday, I think it was, or something like that.
Have to be Wednesday because he played in the Pro-Am. So.
Yeah. So one day of practice before the Pro-Am, and then he came out in that form. That's pretty good.
He definitely just wanted to play.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
was on vacation before. I'm sure he got the itch.
I think he talked about in his transcript after round 2.
I didn't watch
maybe,
any of the interviews from this week.
that he was just he just was like, yeah, I just got to play one
Yeah.
in the fall. So
Yeah.
this was it.
Yeah.
And it's official. Like
Yes,
there's a 99.9999999%
He verbally said he's playing one this fall.
chance
Yeah,
that he will not
a
play
100.
again
Yeah.
until January.
Yeah. Another thing was so he was always the fastest one off the tee box every round, she said. I find that kind of interesting.
That's because he's striping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Quick
guess
tee
that's
pick up
true.
and go.
Yeah. And she also said that he walked ahead of everyone every hole. Like that's kind of just how he was.
Interesting.
Which is
who do
not
you play with again?
We play with Seong Hyun,
And then
the
Mitchell,
SH Kim guy.
Tommy.
which at the
today.
which I also kind of feel like hurt him in its own right because they weren't playing well. And that does affect people.
Yeah, Mitchell not playing well on
if the
Saturday.
final groups, if everyone in the final group is not playing well, I feel like that is not great for your own purposes.
Right. I mean, Rory and Abe talked about how they kind of fed off each other
Yeah.
on Saturday. So
Yeah. And then she also said that he never used the path. He always would run through the desert. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, so I think in the end, this week is a success.
That's good
a
stuff.
tied
Rory.
18th to start the year. It was nice to see Rory back in the winner's circle. Would have loved to see, would have loved to see Rickie or Streb. But
Streb.
yeah, Streb would have been
Yeah.
cool.
I was a diehard Streb fan. I was like paying more attention to Streb's round than Spieth's round on Sunday today. Today when
We
we're
know a
recording.
few people that would have cashed some bets if Streb would have won.
Yes, we did have someone place a bet on Streb to win on Friday, and if he won, it was going to the pod. So there were some ulterior motives at the same time, but yeah. So yeah, Keegan
Yeah,
Rosenberry interview next Tuesday, I think it is. I have to talk to him about the getting to the game.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I got to talk to him about that, but
That'll
yeah.
be a good time.
So I have a friend who's a soccer fan, so I'd probably go with him because I don't know anything about soccer. So, but yeah, this week was fun. It was good to see him play. It was a surprise, but nice to see him play.
And play well too.
And play well.
Yeah, I'd
Make a lot of
categorize it as
birdies
a
and some
success.
eagles.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so
Good start to the season.
good start to the season.
And he'll be back in January
Yeah, he'll be
at the
back.
Tournament of Champions for the first
Tournament
time in
champions. What a title.
4 years.
Talk about a shootout. That's a shootout.
Oh yeah, 30 under. He won
30
at
under.
16. So
So
that'll be exciting. But until then,
yeah.
we've got a lot of good stuff coming.
We
up
have a
on the
lot
pod.
of good stuff coming up. Yeah.
So
We're recording another interview Wednesday. I'm sure we'll
That's
release
right,
that
yep.
soon. And then sure we'll have a few more down the line.
yeah,
But yeah.
got some good stuff coming. So
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. That should be it for this one.
yeah, peace.
Yeah.
Take care, y'all.
Peace.